Do we worry about his future health with the diet that he has? Hello folks and welcome to today's vlog. We are doing something a little bit different on today's vlog because there's been so many new people arriving on the channel recently, which is very much a good thing, but so many of you arrived recently. We realised by reading the comments every day that we haven't done a video in a while where we've talked about Andy's diet, and the questions in the comments are starting to become more and more frequent as people who don't understand the dietary issues that Andy has understandably asking questions like, why is Andy just eating crisps? Why isn't Andy eating the meat in his burger? Is he really having pop for breakfast? And various questions like that. So what we thought we'd do is ask you on the community page, because we always use that community page, and that's why you should be subscribed with notifications on, so you always know when we use that community page. And we asked on there what questions you might have about Andy's diet. We have a load of them. Bearing in mind I only asked probably about 4 hours ago. We've had over 100 questions.
Well, before we start, can I put that on?
What?
The fan, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've had over 100 questions, but as always, what we've done is we've taken the ones that have had the most thumbs ups and worked down from there, and then if there's some that are similar to other ones, we've taken those out of the equation as well. We've whittled it down to what should be a reasonably lengthed episode. Because that's what we're all looking for. So, let's start with the easy one. What does Andy eat?
Crisps.
So, I'm looking after Andy, having never met him before, and I'll just let him have a bag of Wotsits, shall I?
Andy has green crisps.
What, so he has...
Which are salt and vinegar Walker's
crisps. Yeah, he
crisps.
must have his particular brand of crisps. Salt and vinegar, Walker's crisps.
Must be Walker's, not Tesco's own, or
must be salt and vinegar. And yeah, he eats those, and he's getting really weird about those at the moment as well. He started emptying them out onto his plate 3 or 4 bags at a time. Then he picks some of them out and pours the rest in the bin. So just today we've had to start only letting him open 1 bag at a time and making him eat them all before he can open the next bag, because the boy will bankrupt us. We already spend about £30 a week on crisps and another £15–20 on pop, plus the other bits that he has as well. Our weekly food budget as a family is £120. We spend more than half of that on Andy's food because it's
but we've tried him on
so
different
specific.
Ones, haven't we?
Yeah. So he eats salt and vinegar crisps. At the moment he's also eating Warburton's sesame seeded burger buns. Yeah. But only those. He won't eat any other kind of bread.
Well,
not at home.
No, not at home.
Yeah, okay, McDonald's burger buns as well. When he goes to his respite place and at school, he'll eat toast with butter and jam. And it doesn't seem to matter what butter and jam we get, or bread even, because I always forget and I just get whatever's cheapest, because we send that into these places. I just buy whatever's on offer and he still eats it. So it seems with those, but I guess probably because he's not seeing the packets, he just sees it as a finished product on a plate. It doesn't matter what the brand is, he will eat toast with jam, but he won't eat it at home, even though it's identical. He just won't eat it here. Same with Rice Krispies with custard, which is another thing that he eats. He only eats that at school, and that's what he has his vitamin supplement mixed into. He has a vitamin supplement powder that's mixed into the custard. He won't have Rice Krispies plain. We tried that when we were in the Premier Inns in the hotels.
He had a few.
Yeah, but he wasn't into it at all, was he? He won't have them with milk. He won't have them with yogurt. It has to be custard. And because
non-dairy.
Yeah, because of the Trumps, because he's a hipster too, like Anna, he insists on having soya. Is it soya custard?
Soy custard.
Soya custard, because his Trumps smell really bad when he has milk.
They do. They're awful.
Is there anything else he's eating at the moment? He was eating Easter eggs, but we're out of Easter egg season now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So he's run out of them, and we've tried loads of different types of chocolate. We've tried the little thin animal bars. He just won't eat anything that's not Easter eggs, so he's kind of off chocolate at the moment, but I don't think there's anything else he's currently eating, is there?
No, but he seems to be filling himself up.
Oh yeah, he's eating, he is under the care of a dietitian. That's another thing that we should point out, as close to the start of the video as I've remembered to point it out. He is under the care of a dietitian, and the dietitian is happy with his diet. Believe it or not. Oh, waffles he eats as well. but he's kind
for
of
a while.
yeah, he's kind of gone off waffles. But he does eat potato waffles occasionally. But the dietitian she's not really worried, is she?
No, she gives his suggestions, but most of them don't work.
Yeah, obviously we'd all like him to have a little bit more protein and a little bit more vitamins. But on the whole, he gets enough calories. He's not underweight. He's not in any immediate danger. So, next question. Does Andy have any hot foods, or does he just eat foods cold? He eats his bread rolls hot, doesn't he?
Warmed up, yeah.
Yeah, he has them warmed up in the microwave for 12 seconds. Has to be 12. If it's less than 12, we won't eat them. If it's more than 12, we won't eat them. 12 seconds. But that's the only thing he eats hot, isn't it? I don't think it's that he's particularly...
Waffles?
Yeah, waffles I guess he has hot as well, but like you said, he's not really eating them much at the moment. I don't think it's that he doesn't like hot food, it's that the foods he likes aren't eaten hot. Wanted to ask if Andy is allowed to eat foods like noodles. Now I've picked this question because of the word allowed. Andy is allowed to eat...
what he wants.
Yeah, whatever food he wants. It is not us restricting his diet. We are not as dumb as we look. We would not be giving him 12, 15 bags of crisps a day and letting him survive on nothing but pop, which is diet, so sugar-free, caffeine-free pop. We're not filling him up with sugar and rotting his teeth. Yeah, but we wouldn't be giving him that diet by choice. That's not what... hide that can I just opened. That's not what we survive on. But yeah, we would... I mean, I've already said about the financial situation, if for no other reason. We would be a lot better off financially if he just ate the same food as us, because... I mean, £120 is a ridiculous amount of money. I speak to Sheepdog about it sometimes, and he's got 3 kids, and they spend a fraction of what we spend because they all eat the same things. So even if we were the worst parents in the world and we didn't know anything about nutrition, or we didn't care about nutrition, just from a financial point of view, we'd want him to eat the same as us. So we certainly don't ever stop him from eating anything. He restricts his own diet, and we would love him to stop doing that. But it's been going on forever. Which links into the next question, sort of. Has it always been Walker's crisps he's liked, or has he ever liked other brands?
He used to like French fries, cheese and onion.
Which is weird, because it's cheese and onion, and he doesn't eat cheese and onion now, does he?
No.
At all. But now he does eat French fries, salt and vinegar sometimes.
Yeah, but chucks half them away.
Yeah.
I think that's just habit.
Am I right in thinking he used to eat quavers as well?
Yeah, skips. My house used to stink of skips. And he used to eat biscuits, but obviously he likes the shop.
Yeah, that ties into another question here actually. What sort of foods did Andy eat when he was younger? So,
how young do you want?
Well, she specifically said 4 or 5 years old, but if we just kind of go through the history of what he's eaten, he did used to eat chocolate digestive biscuits, only McVitie's. He wouldn't eat other brands. No. I think I remember him having hobnobs at one point as well.
Yeah, all the expensive biscuits.
Yeah, he would only ever eat the brand names, and he would know, and he would refuse the others. But I mean, what was he eating when he was younger? You always... Anna has this picture. I think we showed in the picture in the video that we released for Autism Awareness Day back in April, where we did the Andy age 2 to 7 thing. It always makes Anna cry, the picture of him eating spaghetti bolaise, because it was the one and only time he ever ate meat.
Yeah.
So he has eaten spaghetti bolognese once in his life when he was tiny. But when he was 5, so thinking back to when he first started school, what was a typical diet for him?
French fries.
But only one flavour?
The cheese and onion.
So cheese and onion French fries.
Fruit shoots.
Which he doesn't drink at all now because he prefers pop. This is the thing with Andy, isn't it? It's when he'll have a thing, but then if he finds something he prefers, he'll replace one of the previous things. And it doesn't mean that he probably does, deep down, still like cheese and onion flavour French fries. But because he prefers salt and vinegar crisps, in his mind, there's no logical reason. And I kind of get where he's coming from. If salt and vinegar crisps are the best crisps, why is he going to waste his time eating the second best crisps? And that's how that is how it works for him. So he probably does still like Fruit Shoots, but caffeine-free Diet Coke is so much better than Fruit Shoots. I'm not going to lower myself to drinking Fruit Shoots like a peasant.
Well, no, my mum introduced him to cherry 7-Up. And that was it.
Cherry 7-Up. Wow.
I was at college and she took him to the chicken shop and got him one of them instead of a Fruit Shoot because he didn't have any, and there we go.
Weirdly, pop is a thing where he's not that specific, is he? With pop, as long as it tastes sweet and is fizzy, he'll kind of drink any pop. He doesn't mind whether he has Coke or Pepsi. He'll drink Dr. Pepper. He has all the weird and wonderful flavours that they make. He has the cherry Coke, cherry Dr Pepper he's had. When we were going away in the summer, I forget where we were going, but it was me and him in the service station, and he tried to buy a ginger Pepsi. And I stopped him. And I thought, I mean, it was really a case of, this is a service station, that's a £2.50 bottle of Pepsi, you're not going to like it because it's ginger. But he was totally up for trying it, and really, I probably should have said, yeah, go for it, have the ginger Pepsi. But I was just being tight at the time. Just, come on, we've stopped, we're not going to stop again for 2 more hours. We must have been going to Alton Towers or somewhere. Just get the one you know you like, because I don't want you having one sip of ginger Pepsi and then asking for another drink when we're 3 minutes down the motorway. So he is really flexible over the fizzy drinks that he'll try.
But he won't have, like, Chapman.
Oh no, they have to be the brands. He knows. He is so into brand names. So what else was it? Milk was another thing that was in his diet, wasn't it?
Yeah, milk. Enough
he was
from a
still,
bottle.
yeah, he was still drinking from a baby's bottle when I met you. So he was what, 7 or 8 then?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a few months after they moved in here that we had an incident. Yeah, the bottle that he drank from was a specific one from a specific shop. We couldn't find that bottle anywhere in Peterborough. And
well, it wasn't even the bottle, it was the teat.
Yeah, he chewed through the teat and he just stopped drinking milk. Even when we eventually got the bottle again, when we went over to Nottingham and found one, he wasn't interested anymore. And he would drink probably 3 or 4 bottles full of whole milk a day, which was obviously full of protein, full of calories, massively nutritionally beneficial. But you've seen the video, perhaps future Kev will overlay it here now. We did a video of him trying to get him to drink a thimble of milk a few months back. This was on the instruction of the dietitian, because again, on that theory of he probably does still like it but prefers something else, let's get him to rediscover his love of milk, because he did used to live on it. Milk and biscuits was pretty much it for a long time. Crisps, if you'd have, when we first met, Anna said all he eats is biscuits and cobs. And I thought she meant corn on the cob when she said cobs. I didn't realise she was being northern and weird. But she didn't even mention crisps at the time, so crisp wasn't really a major part until he dropped the milk and the biscuits.
Yeah.
And then crisps kind of took over. But yeah, milk, he's not interested in at all now, is he?
No.
How do we introduce new foods to him, or does he just eat the same things on a daily basis?
I make him lick it.
Yeah, well, he tries new foods every day. Or he tries something that he wouldn't normally eat every day. It's not necessarily always new, we don't always have new foods in the house. But whenever we're eating, we make him, or you make him, lick whatever you're eating. We did go for a spell of putting a little bit on his plate, because again, the dietitian said put a little bit on his plate, he'll get used to it being there, he'll start touching it, he'll get used to touching it, he'll start eating it. All he would do is pick it up and throw it in the bin straight away.
I'll give it this one.
Yeah, so having him lick something we think is better than that.
Because he can come back, and he has.
But there are some things he comes back for, but he won't have them to himself, will he? Even if it's something that he seems to like, he won't eat it himself unless it's his thing that he normally eats. And it's really difficult to know whether it's a sensory thing, whether it's a routine thing, whether it's a that's just his favourite and he prefers it thing. It's really hard. Does he change his diet regularly or stick to one thing? He kind of does change, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He goes, like we were just saying, he was eating potato waffles. He was pretty much surviving on just potato waffles for a little while, to the point where we didn't have to buy crisps one week because we had so many left over from the previous week. He was just eating like an entire box of 18 waffles a day. He was flying through the waffles.
Longer, was it?
Yeah,
I just came in and went, he wants waffles, go and get me waffles.
Yeah, but then one day he just stopped eating them.
Yep.
But there's still like 3 boxes in the freezer. Just as quickly as he'd started, he stopped. And we offer them to him and he'll gag, because he just doesn't want them anymore. And it's the same with the bread rolls. The bread rolls were a thing that he was having probably about 2 years ago. He was regularly on bread rolls. At the time they were the Warburton's ones that aren't seeded, and he ate them for ages, then one day just stopped. And then recently, around about the time he stopped the waffles, we had burgers for tea in the buns. He saw we had them, wanted one, had one. Right, I'm on these now. And at that point waffles were just dropped. So again, it feeds into the whole, it sounds like he's just picking his few, like 3 or 4 favourite things, and if something falls off the favourites list, it doesn't exist anymore in his world. So now bread rolls have replaced waffles, which it probably isn't ideal, because waffles, each waffle contains a gram of protein, the dietitian was saying. So when he was eating 18 a day, he was actually getting close to the protein he was supposed to have, and she was quite excited about waffles. We ruined them by having burgers for tea. Do we worry about his future health with the diet that he has?
No. you have them picky eaters who only eat one thing and they're fine.
Yeah, I worked with someone who lived on nothing but crisps.
Yeah.
But and obviously they're not as healthy as someone who eats a full balanced diet, but we don't eat full balanced diets. And I know we're not the picture of health, but
I am trying.
well, yeah, everyone tries, but very few people eat a completely perfect balanced diet. I don't eat as much fruit as I should. You don't eat dairy because you're a hipster.
Not a hipster, I'm lactose intolerant, which limits my food. It's annoying.
But the dietitian is happy. The paediatrician is happy. As far as they're concerned, the paediatrician even said, as long as the most important thing is calories in versus calories out, as long as he's eating enough food, he will be absolutely fine.
And he's not lost any weight.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's a little bit too much emphasis placed on macronutrients and vitamins and all that kind of stuff. And obviously that stuff is important to a point, but that point isn't a point that we're concerned with at the moment. So our concern is calories in versus calories out, making sure he maintains a healthy weight. He is, and that's all anyone's worried about.
£2 a month he puts on.
Yeah, he's gaining weight at a solid rate. Do we worry about him going off salt and vinegar crisps like he just went off chicken? Because he did used to eat breaded chicken when he was younger, didn't he?
You don't eat the outside of it. And very tiny bits of it, so not a lot. But
I guess we could compare it to something like biscuits or waffles. Are we worried if he just one day decides he doesn't like crisps anymore?
Yeah, but then he'll find something else he wants to fill up on.
Hopefully.
No, he does though. He likes
to
does.
Eat. So another question that I don't think I've put in.
Babe.
Someone asked, does he feel hunger? Does he express hunger? Yeah. He eats when he's hungry and he stops eating when he's full, doesn't he? He wouldn't just starve to death if we just left him to it. He would find something to eat.
Yeah.
Weirdly though, he would put himself in hospital with dehydration because he's done it twice before.
Yeah.
When we've tried to go real hard line and getting him off the pop and saying, right, no, you'll just have water. You can have water on the table. That's all you've got available to drink. We did a whole weekend of that, and the weekend ended with him in hospital.
And I'm not laughing at
dehydration. It kind of proved our point. We've been telling everybody for a long time that we try. It's not because doctors. It's very easy for doctors to just say, like the doctor's motto is, well, at least give it a go. At least try. Oh, we hadn't thought of at least trying. So it was kind of like, well, let's just go for it. They're convinced it's as simple as. I mean, one of them said he's not just gonna not drink anything.
Live with him.
Yeah, for 2 days he didn't drink a thing. And ended up in hospital with it because we were told, don't give in. Eventually his natural instincts will come through and he'll drink some water. He didn't. And when we got to A&E with him, what did they do? Do you remember what they did when we got there? Told us to get him a can of Coke out the vending machine. He drank that and they sent him home.
Because he was fine.
Yeah. He just wanted to drink what he wants to drink. And as soon as he had that, he was absolutely fine. So he would dehydrate himself. If we tried to take the fizzy drinks away, he'd just end up in hospital again. But with the food, he replaces it with something else. Although, that being said,
I don't want to try it.
if we went that hard line and just got rid of all the crisps, all the bread rolls, all the cereal,
it'd get taken off us.
Yeah, if we just got all that out of the house for the weekend and just left chicken breasts and salad on his table, he would not eat for 2 days.
No.
Because he wouldn't go that extreme with it. Have we ever tried getting some of our dinner and putting it into a smoothie for him? We haven't tried that, have we? We have been. He has been not diagnosed. He has been prescribed smoothies like protein shakes and vitamin shakes from the dietitian.
Drink them.
Yeah, they just made him gag. He completely refused. So if he won't drink stuff that's supposed to be a drink because it tastes nice, and if he won't even touch that without gagging, we're not gonna. We're not going to put a cheeseburger in a NutriBullet and try and get him to drink it.
That would make me want to vomit. That's horrible.
My daughter has an eating disorder called ARFID, which stands for Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder. Is it possible that Andy may have this? His diet's so much like my daughter's.
Possibly.
Yeah, we talk about stuff like, a lot of time people say he's got some of the symptoms of this, do you think he has this? Whether it's OCD, whether it's depression, whether it's this thing, that ARFID. But bottom line, and this is again straight from the paediatrician, straight from CAMS as well, because he's diagnosed with autism. Autism is a condition that has a lot of comorbid conditions, so lots of other things go alongside it, and most of the symptoms of the other things can also fall under the umbrella of autism. So because he has the autism diagnosis, they wouldn't give him a diagnosis for this eating disorder, because you could just as easily explain disordered eating as part of having autism. So he might tick every box of every symptom for this condition, but because he's got the autism diagnosis, he just has a restricted diet because he's autistic, and that's what some autistic people do. Have we considered trying Huel? Have you seen the adverts for Huel on Facebook?
I've seen it, but no, because again, he won't drink it.
We wouldn't dream of trying something like that without the dietitian's involvement. They have never mentioned it as an option, so the fact that they're not bringing it up suggests it's not the right thing for us to even try. Do people find it strange when we're out in public and Andy only eats crisps, like in restaurants and stuff? Restaurant staff are actually really accommodating, aren't they? We've never once been in a situation where I've been in a restaurant and said, is it right if he just eats crisps and drinks his can of pop? They always say, yeah, that's fine, go for it. So restaurants, big thumbs up to you. They're very, very happy to just let him do what he does. Yeah, exactly. I imagine what they're seeing is a couple of fatties in front of them. It doesn't matter if that one's not eating, these two will make up for it. It'll be fine. Last question then, do you think Andy's diet is one of his biggest barriers to future independence?
No.
No, I don't see how it would have any impact on his independence at all.
Yeah,
our version of independence for him, we don't even know what that looks like yet, but if it is him living in a flat with maybe some kind of carer who goes round regularly and we visit regularly, as long as he's stocked up on the stuff that he's eating, if it's still crisps, as long as it's crisps and pop, then I don't see how that stops him being independent, because he can, he could go to the shops and buy more crisps and pop. Probably he could do that now. If he ran out of crisps, and I sometimes think about this, especially when like you're at work and it's just me and him here, I've sat there and thought, if I had a heart attack right now and you're not home for like 6 hours and he runs out of crisps, I'm pretty sure he'd just walk out the door and go and get some from the shop. He wouldn't understand that he'd need money to pay for them, but I think he could make his way to Tesco, make his way to the crisps aisle, go to the till, scan them, and then don't know what comes next, I'll just leave.
No, he'd probably take your card, he knows.
He might well just take my card and use the contactless. But I think he could go and fetch them himself. He could.
I'm not sending.
Oh no, I'm not going to. I think it would be a terrible idea. But I think he could do it, and I don't see how it would have any impact on his independence. If anything, it's easier for him to lead an independent life if he's surviving off crisps and pop than it would be if his favourite thing was homemade chili con carne. Because with his whole not understanding danger stuff, I wouldn't trust him with heat and sharp knives and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't want him. That? Yeah, right now on cooking for himself on his own, unsupervised. He might well do it in the future, but I would have no worries at all about him helping himself to a bag of crisps. Right, that is your lot. Thank you to everybody who got involved and sent us questions. If there are still questions about Andy's diet that you don't think we've answered, let us know down in the comments and we will do our best to answer them down there. But this is a video that we are going to kind of direct people to from now on whenever we get questions about his diet, and we'll probably do an update in the future when his diet inevitably changes again. But if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Subscribe to the channel for more daily vlogs, and thank you very much for watching.